What's up? What's up? What's up? Good morning. Can you guys hear me? Type in chat there if you can hear me. What's going on, guys? What are y'all watching today? What are you guys watching today? What's your watch list like? Mine does not have a whole lot going on. Here's my gap scanner right here. SLS, PBLA, RWLK. That's a whole mouthful. SLS popped off yesterday along with that, what was it, GLSI? That went absolutely insane. Good morning, Robert. That GLSI went absolutely insane, guys. That thing was up over 3,000% at one point. And it's not it's not going away. Look at it. It's right back in the 80s. Earlier this morning, it hit 100. It needs to hold this $90 area. If it can break that $90 area and hold it and have some good volume, maybe we could see this thing up over $100 again today. SLS, yeah, man, I was watching that one here. It's on my list. Uh, I mean, it was kind of tricky here. I was watching it since around here. It broke through VWAP, increase in volume here, pulled in, held it for a second, and then it just failed. So it's getting a little choppy there, but as long as I can hold that $9 area, it'll make sure it's a little bit uncomfortable. If we come here over to the daily chart, we have, what is this? Right around here. See this little area right here, 930s is this top, this top, this top, these tops over here. And then we have a gap fill above 1450. Yeah, about that area. I mean, it's gonna get choppy in here for a little while. It needs to really break and hold this $9 area. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see it not. Let me see. Where's the date, the intraday here? Yeah, see, look, I wouldn't be surprised to see it like just chop around going into the bell, and then at the bell, it popping on off. Let's go ahead and take a look at the market briefing this morning here. By the numbers, U.S. stock futures pointed to a lower open with investors watching Thursday's FDA meeting on Pfizer vaccine news and continued talks in Washington around reaching, virus stimulus and government funding deals. The Nasdaq led Wednesday losses on Wall Street with nearly a 2% drop. Tesla dropped really nasty. Might be looking to see if we can get some continuation on that short. As tech stocks sank, the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones Industrial Average also came under pressure, but saw much smaller declines. All three benchmarks, however, did advance earlier in Wednesday's session, hitting new all-time intraday highs. The Dow and the S&P and the Nasdaq all logged record closes Tuesday. Now, today's Thursday, so we only have labor numbers coming in, so jobless numbers. The Labor Department on Thursday reported a much larger than expected 853,000 new filings for unemployment benefits for the week ended December 5th, compared to the upwardly revised 716,000 the prior week, which was the lowest total in this year. However, initial jobless claims have been running well above record levels seen before the pandemic, and that's from CNBC. So that's a little bit of the news going on today. GLSI may do an offering today. I'm going to stay away from that stock. Yeah, I mean, all of these could potentially do an offering. Let me take a quick look here on GLSI for you. GLSI. So their cash on hand is $6 million, $6.21 million. So yeah, they could potentially do an offering at any point in time, but we'll see what they do. I mean, we're gonna keep an eye on that. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna say I won't trade it. If it sets up for me, I'll trade it, but I always will mitigate my risk via the size I trade on it. Let's see here. So like we know SLS, we wanted to see a hold that $9 area, maybe that bottom $8 area, like last resort right here. Let's see. Let's take a look at the 15-minute chart. I mean, yesterday I had quite the run up there. If we look at the daily, let's take a look here. Daily. Okay, so if we look at the daily on SLS, I wish this little box wouldn't pop up and block the area here. This $9 area are all these tops. You see all these tops here at $9 right here on the left side of the chart. All these tops here at $9. We want to see it hold that. And it's struggling in pre-market to hold that area. I did break through it and made a rush to $11 in pre-market, but we're not seeing it hold $9 with strength. I think it's possible that it'll do it this morning after the bell rings, but as of right now, it's struggling a little bit. Break and hold of that $9, basically $10 is imminent. If it can definitely break that 950 pivot in pre-market, I'll show you here in the pre-market. So here's your 950 pivot that it has not been able to break. And here's that $9 area that it's kind of struggling to hold. So if we can break and hold that 9 to 950 area, it has a shot at a good squeeze. IMPP, IMMP, IMMP. Let's see here. Oh, my scan didn't pick that one up. All right, so let's get IMMP on here. Bob Lab, I was reading from an email from the squawk from CNBC. So yeah, that's the CNBC morning squawk. So IMMP. Let's take a look at IMMP here. First things first that I would do here is go take a look at the news. We know it's gapping up. IMMP. It's got a 46 million share float, shares in the float. So it has news as of 15 hours ago. So yesterday and after hours, IMMP Chinese partner EOC Pharma to start phase 2 breast cancer study. So GLSI yesterday was the big mover, and it was off of that apparently 100% efficacy on their breast cancer treatment. So it's safe to say that we're going to see a whole lot of breast cancer PRs coming up between today and tomorrow, maybe even into next week, depending on the action today. BIOC had breast cancer news this morning. I believe it was on their testing kits. And IMMP now has breast cancer news, and it's moving around. 46 million shares in the float, so it's not as a low float as GLSI was. But let's go ahead and take a look at the daily here on... Oh, wow, it's really gapping up there, huh? Wow, it's really gone up there. So at 530 area right here, these previous tops, a pullback down there would be nice. If not, the 660 here should be resistance potentially, which are all these tops. We're going off at 630 right now. So 660s are potential resistance. You see there on the daily, 650 to 660. Break of that, it has a gap fill to 740s. And it would be ideal to see this 520 area hold. So call it $5 because it's never down to the penny. So, if it can hold that $5 area on a pullback, it has a good shot at that gap fill to 720s. If it breaks through that, I mean, it can start going, but it is a bigger float stock, 46 million shares. So I wouldn't expect this thing to go to 100 like GLSI did. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't expect anything to do what GLSI did yesterday. I wouldn't expect anything to do that today, just because psychology goes into play and shorts are going to be a little bit more scared today. So they're not going to be adding to positions as much and holding longer. They're going to be quicker to cover, so the pops might be a little bit faster. Instead of getting a 20-point pop on a stock on a low floater, maybe we get a 7-10 point. I mean, that's plenty of money to be made there, and we don't need to capture the whole move. Yeah, no problem, Bob Lab. ABNB says Mike IPO released today. That's Airbnb. Yeah, Airbnb today, definitely something to watch. I don't really play IPOs on the day of, but we'll keep an eye on it and see what's going on. That's we already went over. Let's see his PBLA. This PBLA, I mean, I don't look at this. There it is in frame. should have, I guess, some news from yesterday. Let's take a look. PBLA. It has a 7.8 million float. And I don't see any news yesterday. This thing just popped off randomly yesterday, at least on Yahoo Finance. The only news I see is from 2 days ago, and it was Panbela Therapeutics Inc. completes enrollment in its phase 1 trial investigating SBP 101 combination therapy for the first line. Okay, so yeah, it's just like phase 1 news 2 days ago. Typically, the biggest pops you get on biotechs comes in on phase 2 news. Phase 1, a little bit. Phase 2 generally has the bigger pops, obviously, if it's good news. And the phase 3s don't always generally, generally they don't have a big pop on phase 3s. So that's just a little information for the group. So yeah, PBLA I won't be watching in reality. I am going to be watching Tesla short potential. See here, Tesla, man. Yesterday I was really looking at buying some puts right here, just one contract, but it was hard for me to trust those puts there with Tesla. And I mean, man, I would have. They were $600 strikes, expiration December 18th that I was looking at, and to see Tesla down here in the 570s now, sucks to be right and not be in that trade. But I'll be watching it today, see if we can get a pop back up to 580 or some other short setup, maybe a bear flag formation. I'll be looking to short Tesla if it gives me the opportunity to set up and with tight risk. So yeah, we got PBLA leading gapper there, but it doesn't look good on the pre-market here. It's just been kind of fading. PBLA. I mean, there's really not a lot of volume. It's holding up decently, but it did go to 14 bucks yesterday in after hours. Definitely something to keep on watch if it can continue to hold that $5 area. Take a look at the daily. Very, very, very choppy and low volume stock. Look at this. Yeah, like I wouldn't hold my breath on this thing. I mean, it could probably prove me completely wrong. I'd watch for $5 to hold, but this will probably be like a back burner for me. SLS, be the small cap I'll be watching. SLS, seeing if it can hold that $9 area. It's still struggling to hold it. You see it right there, still struggling to hold that $9 area. I'll be watching it, see if it holds that $9 to $8 like bottom support. SLS will be the first small cap I'm going to be watching. Then I'll be watching GLSI. Okay, see if it can break and hold that $90 area. That'll be where it'll be interesting to me. I'll be watching Tesla short. Oh, don't dump. Like I figured Tesla has a shot, if it gets really weak to come on down here and test these 560s. Just because we're lillygagging right here at 570s, and we kind of fill the gap here at 570. If it fills the gap and wants to bounce from there, okay, so be it. But if it wants to get weak and come on down here to 560s to even 540s, if things get nasty, I want to be in that trade. So watching SLS long, GLSI long, Tesla shorts. Also watching ZM right here. It's really weak. Look at this. Show you the daily. ZM has a gap to fill down here to 326. If it can break underneath this 347, right now it's at 378. So it's definitely something I'll be watching as well for short side trade on it. Right, very low volume. So right now it's not something that I'm really focused in. I'm really focused on SLS. I'm focused on GLSI, and I'm focused on Tesla. Let's see what else we have. I mean, that's it for me, guys. Anything? Oh, ZM looking a little drop there. Anything else you guys are watching? SpaceX had bad news with Starship main planes. Yes, I think one of the rockets blew up, didn't it, or something like that? I mean, I don't want to put false news on there. It's just something I saw on Twitter. If that's the case, then yeah, Tesla could definitely see some further downside, and that's definitely why I'm going to continue watching it. It's sitting at 570 right now. Guys, save 50 today. All caps will save you some extra money at the daytraderchatroom.com. So make sure to take advantage of that. I just posted it in the chat there for you. Now, yeah, see, Tesla's sitting at that 570. Like right now, what I wanted to do is bounce. I want it to bounce and maybe give us a bounce up to 580 so that later on when the bell rings, we can see if that area is going to be resistance. And if VWAP comes into play there, maybe, we see some resistance there and I can get short with very, very tight risk, a couple points or something like that. If I can get it as far as the risk on it to maybe make 5 or 10 points, I mean, that's a no-brainer. So I'll be watching out for that. Let's see here. GLSI is coming back down some. Yeah, GLSI is coming back down some, but like I said, I'll watch it. I'm not going to trade it down here, I don't think, in the 70s. If it holds 70 and it bounces back up, if it ever gets up over $90 with some volume, that's when we can really see some action start to heat up on it. If we get up over 90, it has room. Robert, no, I'm actually looking to short the stock itself. If I was going to look at the puts, I'd have to wait for the market to open and show me which ones might have some of the better volume on it. So I'm not really looking at puts. I'll be shorting the stock itself. With the way Tesla moves, all I just need is a couple hundred shares, and I can make out like a bandit on it. I'll obviously be in full margin, I mean, I know that's like what, well over $100,000 you'll need in buying power for a couple hundred shares. But you think about it, even 50 shares, if Tesla moves, gives you a 5 or 10 point move, that's 250, $500. The way it moves, one generally doesn't need a whole lot of shares to make a good amount of money on it. But if I was going to look for puts, I look for whatever has some good volume and isn't too far out of the money. And it's definitely, for me, it would not be tomorrow's expiration. Those would be way too volatile. I would probably look at least 2 weeks out. Not that I'm going to give the trade. If I was going to day trade puts on it today, okay? Quick little lesson here. This is stuff I go over in my course. So if I was going to day trade puts on Tesla today, I would not day trade. I would not be looking at tomorrow's expiration because tomorrow's Friday. So I'd be looking at least next Friday's expiration, preferably with the way Tesla's going to be as volatile, maybe 2-3 weeks down the line expiration. I won't hold it 2 or 3 weeks because I'm not looking to day trade. I'm not looking to swing trade it. But I want to manage my risk, and that's one way to manage my risk on it. I'll pick something that's not too far out of the money and a little bit further out expiration just to kind of compensate that volatility. But most importantly, volume. They have to have volume. Like, I don't want to get into some put that has like 50 contracts traded on the day. You know what I'm saying? It needs to have some volume. So ideally, I'd like to see a couple thousand shares, a couple thousand contracts traded already. So I hope that helps. So guys, here's the scans. You can keep looking at them. Any questions, drop them there in the comment section for me. Let me know. Let me know if you have any tickers you want me to look up or any questions at all. No problem, Rob. No problem at all, bud. It's my pleasure. It is my pleasure. I thought today, I'm going to just continue giving you some little tidbits that I was thinking about. I thought today we would see these gap scans going absolutely insane with biotechs because of GLSI yesterday. It's not to say that we might not have small caps go insane today. It's very possible, especially if we can get SLS to start squeezing. SLS struggling to hold that $9. But I seriously thought that today I would come into the market this morning, and I've been sitting here since like 8:30, and I would open up my scans and I would at least have 3 100% gainers, but we don't. And that is basically kind of like making me pull the throttle back on how I thought I was going to approach the day today. Because I really thought that we would get some crazy pre-market action that would translate into some crazy squeezes at the open with halts and the whole madness. I thought that's what we would get today. And I'm not saying that it might not happen. It could very well happen. But I'm just saying that part of my thought process is not coming to fruition here in pre-market. So that tells me, hey, Jesse, you might want to not be as aggressive as you were thinking you were going to be today. You might want to pull the reins back here and be protective of your profits. So right now, what I'll be focusing on primarily is going to be that Tesla short at the bell. I don't trade it at 9:30, but that's going to be my focus at 9:30. The Tesla short, SLS long, and GLSI I'll be watching. But I really, really thought today we would get some more pre-market action and some bigger squeezes. And so far, all we're seeing is GLSI holding up, SLS holding up, and then that PBLA that's kind of fading off a little bit. So I don't really have anything else. IMMP that Brian brought into chat there is something that I'll definitely continue keeping on watch. Even though for it being a small cap, the float is smaller than I'd like. I'm sorry, bigger than I'd like. Look, it kept on squeezing. Whoa, what happened there? IMMP. Here we go. That's quite the move. So you know what? IMMP is going to take first place for me as far as small caps, then SLS, then GLSI, and I'll be watching that Tesla for the potential short. Zach says, I am late in. I just wanted to say that I am glad to hear that you don't trade the open sometimes because it validates my thoughts on it also. Zach, man, the bell can ring at 9:30 and I'm just gonna sit here with my arms crossed just like I'm sitting right now, waiting for things to develop and like slow down. You know, I'm gonna let those scalpers and those momentum chasers fight each other, you know, give each other black eyes. I'm gonna let them do that thing, and then I'm going to watch for the setups. If the setups present themselves, I'll trade them. If they don't present themselves, I have zero problems not taking a trade today, my man. I've traded every single day now for a while. I think back in November or late October, I went through a little 2-week phase there where I had basically didn't take more than like 5 trades, I think, just because there was a couple days that I didn't take any trades because setups just didn't present themselves. That's right, man. Let them get punched out. Let them get punched out. You know, like some of them will make money, some of them will get wrecked, and they'll jump into things, not know where their stop losses are. And I know this, okay? And I'm not talking like, you know, I know this because that was me. That was me years ago. The bell rang 9:30. Oh, pre-market break. Buy 1,000 shares of whatever it was, and then it flushes down 30 cents after going up like 7 cents. You know, no. So I don't, that's not, I haven't traded like that in years. And I have no desire to trade like that in years. You know, the only thing I usually do at the bell is exit a position or maybe add to an ongoing position. So like if I had a swing trade going, that's usually the only things I'd be doing at the bell. But opening a brand new position at 9:30, 9:31, 9:32, 9:33, nah, that's not me. I generally don't open positions until like about 9:40. That IMMP, man, that volume, the closer we're getting to the bell, is very, very intriguing. I'm starting to like it a lot. I'm really starting to like it a lot. Look at that daily again on IMMP. I scroll back quite a ways, man. This thing is up a lot. I wonder why. I'm gonna have to check my scanners. I don't know why it's not hitting my. It didn't hit my gap scanner. So the 650 area, you see this previous gap here, that 650, 660 area. That's where we want to see it break and hold. That's where it's at now. It's testing that gap entry now. If it enters that gap, it has space to 740s. So yeah, that, I mean, look, in an ideal scenario, I would want this thing to pull back right now and give us that entry opportunity at 640. I mean, that's at 660, but like around 9:45 a.m. But that's, you know, dreamers. We dream. Zach says 100%. I commented on one of your videos a few weeks back and I was up over 100% on my account. And then I got cocky. I have given most of it back now, trying to be aggressive. Yeah, man, that happens. You know, and I don't know what your trading experience is. I don't know how long you've been trading. But generally speaking, like, especially for a new trader, they'll do something like that and they'll turn a $5,000 account on a play like yesterday, GLSI. Let me see, what time is it? 9:24. Perfect example, okay? Yesterday, GLSI, I know a lot of noobs out there bought that stock and they held it. They bought it at 20 bucks, at 40 bucks, and they held it all the way to 100, okay? And they banked huge. These newbies made tens of thousands of dollars. If they don't get informed, they will get crushed, decimated. They will lose all, or if they're lucky, just most of it, and then they'll be like, okay, I'm done with this trading stuff. of that money, because they're going to now think that every single stock that halts going up is going to do what GLSI did, because they've never seen it happen before, but it happened to them yesterday. Now they're going to go in extra heavy. They're going to think they're going to turn that into millions of dollars without even being educated on trading. So yes, that's something that happens, especially, you know, in inexperienced traders. GLSI, what it did yesterday, guys, no stock is going to do that today. No stock is going to go from $6 to $100 today. I can almost put a big bet on that, on the confidence that I feel that that will not happen today. It's not to say that no stock will go from $6 to $12 or $20, very possible, but from 6 to 100, and that's what a lot of noobs that traded yesterday, GLSI, think it's going to happen today. And that's just not the truth. Zach, you're doing it good though, man, because now you're getting educated properly and you know what you did wrong, and you'll fix it, because that's what we do as traders. We mitigate our risk and we fix what isn't doing well. Yeah, man, this IMMP, I'm gonna keep that one on watch. I really like it. Like, I'm not gonna trade it at the bell. This thing can go to 10 bucks and I won't touch it. I'll wait for my pullback. If I get my pullback, I'll nab it. If I don't get my pullback, then I will not nab it. Simple as that. And then Tesla, let's see what Tesla's doing here. Oh yes, that's the bounce I wanted to see. That is the bounce I wanted to see. Good. I want to see that bounce. Let's see if it gives me a short setup. Zach, GLSI had news. GLSI actually had some good news on I believe it was a breast cancer treatment with 100% efficacy. So they had a catalyst that came out yesterday, and that thing just squeezed into oblivion. It went all the way to like 160 bucks, I want to say. I sat there and watched it go and go and go, and I was like, I'm gonna wait for this thing to pull back to like 45 bucks so I can buy it for a bounce. But I don't think it did it until after hours, and I wasn't watching it by then. By after hours, I was actually uploading a YouTube video. I uploaded a YouTube video on that whole Jason Bond $137 million fraud thing, and then the Wolf of Wall Street endorsing them. I uploaded a video on that yesterday, so check it out if you haven't. DRYS years ago, GLSI was even more insane than DRYS. GLSI went from 12 bucks to $160 in one day. DRYS took 3 days to make that kind of move, and it went up to like 115, I want to say. Oh, did you? Yeah, man, that is a mess. That is a mess, Zach. That is definitely a mess, my man. Like, wouldn't want to be them, man. But it's like I say in the video. Like, if you have, look, I have a trading service now. There's the coupon code, right? I'm not here to tell you I turned my $25,000 trading account into $1 million. No, why? Because I haven't done that. If one day I get there, I will then tell you I did it, and here's my paperwork showing I did. You can't start a service and say I turned $500 into $1 million and it not be true. I'm not saying that's what Raging Bull did, but Raging Bull claims to be millionaire traders, and the FTC is suing them because apparently they really aren't millionaire traders, and some of their marketing practices have been extremely sleazy and like extremely aggressive, and that's not something that's, you know, being taken lightly. And they're going after him. $137 million in fraud is what they're claiming. Come on, Tesla, give us that stronger little bounce up there, and see if I can get that short. IMMP is still squeezing, guys. That one is front and center, guys. Well, anyways, we already talked about our levels. We know what we're watching, guys. Good luck out there. Thank you for tuning in. Any questions, you know, just drop them in the comment section. I'll come around later, or go to contact us section of the daytraderchatroom.com. Remember to use that coupon code. It ends tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Good luck today. Stay green, stay disciplined, and I'll catch you on the next one.